We're going to go ahead and get started here. All right, first, thank you everybody for coming. It's a hot day in July, so it's good to see people actually willing to come to our meeting and hear all the cool stuff going on. That'll get started. Chapter business, do we have any new members here that haven't been here before? So you get to introduce yourself.
I get to, what do I get to do?
Introduce yourself.
She gets to introduce herself, yes.
Okay.
I think you should stop sharing your screen and make her go on camera, but that's all right.
Okay, so my name is Jennifer Salvati. I am a STEM teacher at Lakeside Middle School in Millville, New Jersey. I am actually going to be teaching a video game design course this year for the first time ever. This is going to be my 12th year teaching. I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. I got my master's here at Stockton in instructional technology, and I write long from the beach.
And you're with Lakeside Elementary?
Yeah,
Middle. In what town?
Millville.
Millville, okay. All right.
Welcome.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else do we have here? Go to the next one. All right, just some chapter business. We have our officer team for 2018-19. We will have to, or we're going to go through the nomination process again for officers. We're going to do that in September. I don't know when we officially voted on our officers this past year, but we want to kind of get back on the September, so it's in the beginning of the year, which kind of makes sense. I know last year there were some issues on having interest for people that want to be officers. So we think that got pushed back a little bit, but we're bringing it back up to September. We are thinking a Google form will go out for nominations. You can nominate yourself. You can nominate someone else. Maybe ask them first before you nominate them. Not that that's ever been done around here. And we'll take it from there. And then based on the nominations, we'll then go ahead and have an actual election, which we'll probably also do through Google form ideally, and then we can announce it in the September meeting. So keep an eye out for that. Some more chapter business, just a reminder, the CSTA Plus membership, it's the $50 fee that you can pay. You get access to different things from the national organization, some priority on conferences they run, access to subscriptions for publications, monthly newsletters. So a couple extra perks. Pretty much the purpose of this is CSTA wants to provide lots of funding and opportunities for teachers, and without charging some kind of money, or at least asking that those interested contribute some type of money. They don't really have the funding for that. So it kind of goes both ways. Ultimately, this money does get kicked back to CSTA chapters and members. So that's kind of nice. You get access to things, and then that does open up different opportunities for the chapters throughout the country. And I know one of the big things they do is they do give a scholarship to attend the national conference. So Michelle won that scholarship this year, correct?
Mm-hmm. We'll discuss that a little bit later.
So just a way of, there you go, or you join this, you're CSTA Plus member, you get access, and then there's other opportunities that can come with it. I'm just keeping up with our sites. The sites are all still the same as far as the website, Facebook, Google Community, Twitter. Just encourage you, keep on posting, keep on putting stuff out there, whether it's important for our communities here in South Jersey to see, or even just on the state level in general in New Jersey. We're doing lots of good things. We're really making good progress with CS education. It's important that we continue to promote this stuff and have everybody see all the great things. What is computer science? What are we doing in our classrooms? How much the students are engaged, how much they enjoy it, etc.
Did everybody get stickers? Did I bring enough stickers for you? There are specific marketing guidelines we have to follow. So if you're going to be doing any kind of t-shirts in your school or anything like that, just check with us first. I did include the slide deck of the marketing information and the chapter brand guidelines. So in the CSTA brand guidelines. So if you're going to be using the CSTA logos, which they so cheerfully handed out in stickers, Please make sure you're following their guidelines so that we are in compliance. Actually, can we go back to that
We
slide?
go back.
The Central chapter, they just recently got T-shirts for their chapter, which, you know, they just designed a T-shirt, placed an order. We could do something like that. So if that's something that people are interested in, having our own chapter T-shirt in a really nice, soft shirt, like the Lenovo shirts. You remember those? Oh my gosh, my family lives in Lenovo, so that would be something that, you know, we could put together,
Maybe we could
get a pricing scale and see.
we could also talk to Central, see where they get theirs from.
Yeah, I didn't like theirs.
Oh, fair enough.
No, theirs were polo and they were hot and they were all like, I don't know, I want something soft and like, you know, soft, not a PK knit. Not that Central's shirts aren't great. I would just never wear one because it's too hot. So, I don't know.
Fair enough. So maybe we'll include that like interest question on the officer nominations.
We could do that.
Send out.
Mm-hmm.
See, so when you nominate.
Yeah,
you
maybe
get
more
that
people
email.
will actually like open it if we say it's for T-shirts. Right? It's you out there. Okay. Next.
All right, some more updates. We are going to have our programming competition once again. Those dates will come out soon. So I guess.
I talked to Scott. He's going to talk to Joanne when she gets back on vacation, and we'll see what dates we can book. Do you want to talk about that at all?
So it's the SDA programming competition. It's a few years running here at Stockton. It's the biggest one in the state, right?
This will be
It's
our
gonna the
fifth.
one. So students from all around the state come out for it. Super fun event. Takes a lot of work on our part to do it, but it's always well worth it. So
You guys know Java?
yeah, it's Java based. So that's what we teach here. It seems standard enough. Anybody here represent any students that have participated in that? I guess Adam, right? Obviously, but
Yeah,
else?
we went.
You did.
Yeah, Millville did come one year. Mm-hmm. What are you teaching besides Java?
Python?
Python.
That'd be probably.
Well, so right now we're not geared up to deal with Python, but that doesn't mean it's insurmountable. Right?
And I guess the only issue with that too is I think we went with Java too. One, that's what you guys use here.
Oh, yeah.
And since that's what the AP test is. that's
Well,
what
the AP
most-
test, there's two AP tests, right? So there's
Those
APA.
are the
there's
principles,
AP
yeah.
Principles, and principles can be any language.
True.
So Python's a quicker language to pick up because there's less syntax and stuff to worry about. And Java's a little bit more rigid, more structured, and kind of can discourage kids easier than something like Python, which is almost pseudocode at some point, where you just kind of write out what you want to do. It's a little bit more like thought and idea of what to accomplish to the goal without so much friction between things or something like Java. So whatever. It don't matter to me.
Yeah, one thing I can say is that we're probably going to tend away from things that really leverage the Java language and the classes and that sort of stuff, because what we found, which is really encouraging, is that these kids already know it, right? They know recursion, they know inheritance, they know interface, they know all this stuff coming in, which is, you know, really great from the perspective of the teachers that send them and all that kind of stuff. So what we're going to do is more of an applied science kind of approach, where it's going to be more computation, right? So like you could do this in Python, you could do it in Java, you could do it in BASIC, you could do it on a piece of paper if you had to. So I think that's going to be the focus of this one. It's more of an applied science twinge to it.
You mentioned former students. Are you looking for
Like volunteers or?
Well, you start to say like, did anybody here are former students?
Yeah, just to get feedback. Like, so, you know, one of the things we heard is Python is what's being taught. That's obviously good to know. And then, you know, from my perspective, I want to move towards a more science-based, you know, outcome. But I was curious, like, what your feedback would be on that, or what do you think? Good, bad?
I think that definitely opens up opportunities for more students, maybe a group that's been looking at Python. I think too, it also helps because you're going to have students with different programming skills and levels. But I know sometimes they can come in and become a little defeated on, like, holy cow, that group finished. And we got 2 questions. Like, I know I had a couple groups that really struggled this year.
Oh, yeah.
And like, they were just kids that were like, oh, we only got 1. And they kind of just laughed it off. It wasn't a big deal, but
Yeah.
and
That's
some,
actually a really good point. Like Vex Robotics, the way they hand out their awards and stuff, what they do is they go, okay, this was like the best robot or whatever. Then they have other awards where it's like, okay, these guys put together the best notebook, right? The best engineer's notebook, you know, and that's not necessarily they built the best. They had like a really organized, you know, notebook, look good, well thought out and stuff like that. So having like alternative sort of things to where maybe a lesser team, like they also have an award for like best new team. And like when you sort of do that, it helps people that are new to things still kind of appreciate having fun.
Good point. Like you said, you know, maybe some guys wrote a good algorithm. Maybe they could not take it into code,
Sure.
but algorithm or documented their steps.
Yeah.
so I think to
Maybe
your
you can
point,
look at some things, you know.
that kind of opens up the possibility of some of those things.
Yep.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
How would that be managed on our side though?
Well, I can tell you that the server that we use now and all that, like, we would not do that. We couldn't do that
Yeah.
for an open-ended test. And the kind of thing is, like, it sounds like we're talking more about stock hack with, like, the different sort of things than the CSTA. Like, the CSTA, we follow the ACM programming contest rules, and they're super strict about how you award points, when you award points, and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, fundamentally, it doesn't matter to me. Like, whatever we think is going to be best for the kids is what we'll do, obviously. But as far as ACM is concerned, it's real strict about how you award the points and that kind of stuff. And it has to be 100% correct. There's no partial credit at all.
Mm-hmm.
So that goes, I think, to like the goal of CSTA. Like, are you guys trying to bring in as many people as possible? Or are you trying to bring in like a bunch of new people? Or are you trying to just bring in the best people? And if something like that would bring in the best people, you would have everybody, you know what I'm saying? You're holding to a rigid standard. It's like only the excellent people are going to come in and compete, because the other people are going to kind of like do it, try it, not succeed, not really show up. You know, so what is the goal of the programming competition?
Well, it is a competition.
Oh, sure, there's a competitive
So-
element, but even with a competitive element, you can have something where you want, you know, the best people to show up, or you want a lot of people to show up. Like,
I think
there's 2 different goals.
we've kind of hit the middle ground on both, though. I feel like we get some very, very strong students that come, obviously, very strong computer
Like-
science programs.
Yeah, people have done their AP, you know, freshman year, they're done with their AP already and
But I think
they kick butt.
the fact that there aren't many opportunities to do an event like that, you also get a lot of schools that are like, you know what, let's just go for the experience. Listen, we may not be there. So I think it's kind of balanced nicely for that. Like, I would say we have a good mix of the two. I know some of the other kids I talked to are like, yeah, we got no chance coming into this, but you know what? The kids like it. It's fun. They get to talk to other kids. There's always giveaways. There's food. Their kids are on board with all of that.
Yeah, one of the things I can say from my perspective, I was a student in high school when they first released the AP test and all that kind of stuff, and we went to a programming competition. Our team got 1 problem right out of the 6, and like, although like I didn't feel great about only getting 1 problem right, like I still loved computer science after that. Still went to all the events, like did all the stuff after that experience. So like, I don't know, I could see it working. You know, either way, the kids are going to be happy at that. We'll just do something.
There were some questions, you know, from teachers who were like, look, I've got 25 students, how do I choose? And I'm like, you're going to have to do a face-off in your own school before you go, like before you decide who you're going to put up for the competition. So that led to like an internal competition, which was nice.
That's actually pretty cool. Like having maybe some like school specific sub competition stuff before the main one. Like if you guys made the Stockton one like the main one, and had maybe like school based one be the first
So
one.
that's a great idea. We could potentially.
There are some online ones
Yeah,
that
like
we
a
could,
pre-packet or something. Teachers can just like
Yeah.
So Demetrius, now since this is the 5th year, do we have a website for this, right? Web page or something?
yes, we do have a web page.
Where I can go as a participant and really know what to expect, what kind of previous year, what was.
Yes, we've always had the samples on there since
samples,
the
so
very
that I
first
know
one.
Yeah, we
Mhm.
do have samples. We don't have like a dedicated site for the event or anything.
We
It's
do.
just on the South Jersey site.
No, it's a dedicated event page on Stockton's website. Mhm.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, we've had that for the last 2 years. Before that, it was like in that flyer. But yeah, we've always had a website
That
with the
will help
samples.
True.
That's where all the students enroll through and,
All
oh
right,
yeah. It's okay, we don't bother you with those little
Yeah,
details,
that's
Demetrius.
good.
So I think either getting that website out for like that
Well,
internal comp, because I know for me, like picking 18 kids, I'm like, oh darn, how we doing this? So I
Mhm.
would definitely lean towards doing like a in-house thing ahead of time.
Sure.
But either letting teachers know, hey, the problems are there. You can just take them off of the
Mhm.
website and get an idea or taste of what it's going to be all about. Or if you guys just had extra problems that were new, just being like, here's back to the front. This is
Yeah.
what that's overloading your work.
We would
as
do,
well.
we would do previous year problems. I mean, that's
That
the
works.
easiest thing for me.
So we've got 4 years of them, so we can
Yeah.
post them all.
And luckily, I was talking before about going more science with the problems. We do have quite a few of those backed up from the last few years that we can pick and choose the ones that are more science oriented
Mhm.
as the practice problems.
Yeah, that's true.
Instead of getting like recursion problems and they come in and it's physics or something.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. For the chapter finances, I was at the chapter finances meeting at the chapter leadership summit, and they had applied to have all of the chapters have nonprofit status under the main CST umbrella, but they were turned down by the IRS with absolutely no reason given. It was blank. It's blank. And so they're in the appeal process, and they've asked us all to not go ahead and set up chapter finances if we had not previously done so, and to just wait. However, their situation is, if you want to apply for the CSTA grants, you have to have your chapter finances set up. So they said that they would be willing on a case-by-case basis to run the finances of whatever grant chapters were applying for through their umbrella, like we did with the t-shirts and some other stuff. So we should definitely look into funding some of the programming competition like we did in previous years. So we'll be looking to do that if there's anybody that wants to help with that process. I don't know, just put it out there. Okay. Normally it's a scramble on a weekend and Adam and Lynn and I are all like, but if somebody else wants to help out with that, we would love it. So. Chapter goals. So they had us fill us out at the leadership summit too. Just click on the thing. Click on the picture. Okay, so these are the goals that, I didn't have everybody there. I can go in and change these. So if we could just spend a moment looking at these and see if you agree with what I thought was the assessment. Obviously, our desired level is level 4. We want to be awesome in everything. So as far as tracking satisfaction from our participants, I don't feel like we do that. We don't send a note after each meeting, how did you like the meeting? So I feel like we could use some major improvement there that we're at level 1. Does everybody agree with that? All right. Informal networking, that would be like not here.
What are the different levels? Can you click on that
Sure.
thing? Meet
Okay. Informal networking, meaning that we're having our meetings like not always at a meeting place like here. A lot of chapters like alternate and they'll do it at a brewery or something. Breweries seem to be quite popular. So everybody perks up. So that was what I took away from the conference, is that breweries are best. So I feel like, yeah, we need improvement there. That we've always pretty much had a rigid meeting, and that we're not really networking outside of that except through the Google groups.
So we do have the Google group.
We do have the Google group. but I didn't know if that made us level 1 or level 2. Look at level 2. Right there on 2. Yeah, I still think we're level 1. Okay, mentoring new CS teachers.
I personally, I get a lot of one-off emails
Okay.
sometimes, but I don't know how we can make that so that people feel more comfortable to reach out to specific people. Like, I feel like some people come like once and like, oh, that was great. Can you give me more information on this? I give them more information. And they kind of run with it, and then it's quiet for a little bit.
Maybe we could have some, like an online forum or discussion board where a teacher needs something, then
So maybe
anybody who has the
Yeah,
expertise.
maybe in the Google
Yeah.
group, maybe in the Google group that we already have, we set that up as a topic.
Yes. Yeah.
And that'd be the other thing. A lot of this, and I don't know how other states are, but especially with this mentoring, we do a very good job as a state with CSJ in New Jersey, all of the chapters kind of communicating and sharing stuff. Like, I think that Google group's very helpful that we have for the state. It's not South Jersey specific, but I feel like there is a lot of that. So it's kind of like individually, could our specific chapter and its members have their own one-off thing, possibly, and that could be cleaned up. But I think the fact that we're kind of running our 3 chapters separate, but sharing everything kind of makes that one.
Well, so let me ask, so is it your goal to quantify how much mentoring is taking place and who's doing it, or it just you want to be able to offer that? Because if you want to offer that, and I, like you, have been reached out to by members of the community for different things, like sports or whatever, right? Just put my picture there, what my title is, and I'm some subject matter expert in esports or programming or whatever it is, right? And then they reach out to me. If you want to quantify it, that's different. And it's like formalized. But if you just want to put my name up there and say, talk to me about X,
I guess we could add that to our chapter presentations and to our website, like, what are you willing to mentor? And then just put a list of people who will mentor. So I think we can take it far right there.
Yeah,
That's a great idea.
Quantifying it, I don't know how important that is per se. Like,
Yeah, I
you
mean, it's
could
not to be
agree,
honest.
but I think
Mhm.
to your point, just people know, like, oh, who can I reach out to? And then taking advantage
Sure.
of that is probably the more important aspect.
Okay.
I'd be happy to do it if you're looking for a volunteer.
Yeah. So are we at level 1, or are we kind of like, we're in the middle between level 1 and level 2? So I just left it. I didn't know what to do with it, really.
What do we think?
Level 1.5.
Yeah, there's no.
We're talking the
level 1.
entire, like I said, it's tricky because I think we're one of the few
Yeah,
states
we're-
where all the chapters are on board and in constant communication, which
Mhm.
makes a testament to what we're doing statewide.
Yeah. So I would even bring it to like 2 on that one. Okay. And then the next goal was finances. There's nothing we can do with this until they solve their problem. So our ideas and plans for achieving the goal are basically just wait for them. Waiting for good day. Okay. And then so I just picked 4. Mhm.
If it works, it's good. I think, personally, I think this mentoring one is a big one.
I don't think if you scroll down anymore, I don't think there's any more. No, I just picked 4 off of the whole rubric. There was like an entire rubric where we had to evaluate the chapter. And then I picked 4 that I felt like we were scoring low in. So, and the rest we were doing pretty awesome on. So, state of the state.
I think the mentoring is a big one. I think too, everybody needs to be comfortable reaching out and asking, hey, do you know anything about this? Can you help me out? So I feel like we always are like, oh, if you have any questions, or here's this, Michelle can help you with this. And then, I don't know, then it seems to go dark when we're not in meetings. Or like you get that email 2 days after the meeting and there's nothing until the following month. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if people are just like, all right, I got my fill, I'm overwhelmed. Let me go back to my classroom and do my thing. I don't know if people are thinking, oh, well, I don't want to reach out because they're probably busy. They have their classes. So I don't know how to encourage people to be more interactive, which will be part of the mentoring thing too, not just having people willing to mentor,
Mm-hmm.
but just getting a community that's.
Well, I think if you work on goal 2, the informal networking, if you include like you said, the other chapters of New Jersey, that might naturally just happen. You know, people will just start coming together more, getting to know each other, and go, oh, he's good at this thing. Maybe I'll shoot him an email.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe we could put the metro in the.
Even when we send our
Right
surveys,
in the Google group, we should put that in
I think sometimes when we send our surveys, we get like 5
there.
responses.
We always
And
get like
everybody's
5
busy. We get it.
responses.
Gotta give away a T-shirt.
We're
5
like 5.
t-shirt.
It's the only way.
We have to have finances to give away the t-shirts. So,
A free downloadable PDF of a top 5 list. That's another way to get people to do things. I'm serious. It works like a charm. Any top 5 list. The top 5 reasons why I like parking. Anything, people will download those things. It is astonishing. Anybody will give up their email address for a free PDF.
I'd like to test that.
It works. Trust me.
No,
It is
this
a
is
proven,
terrible.
marketing, web marketing technique. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, then you can always do the parsed out the Google one where you put the little plus sign and then you just send that right to the delete there.
Just go back in the Chrome down there at the bottom. And then move that black bar out of the way so you can get out of there. There you go. No, it's like blocking everything. Okay.
There we go. All right, CSA New Jersey notes start talking about it. Our big thing is we have our 3 chapters, any 4th one on the way.
There is a 4th one.
There's a 4th one.
We'll talk about that in a second. But we have our individual chapters, but also we do have our CSA NJ chapter, which we're a group that we all fall under. We think it's important to kind of have the communication between all the different chapters, whether it's best practices, good ideas, like Central Jersey did the t-shirts, or shirts, and now we're like, oh, great, maybe we should do shirts as well. So it's always good to kind of communicate with everybody. CSTANJ.org, once again, is really the landing site for everything computer science education in New Jersey, whether it's PD for educators, it'll send you out to different links, opportunities for students, programming competitions, online, whatever it might be. The chapters all have their websites connected to that one. So if you went there, you can jump to the different chapter websites. So it really is the landing point there. Also Facebook page, Twitter handles right there. Once again, just promoting things, big thing.
How do we go to the Google group? So go to.
Are you not getting the emails from the Google
No, I'm
group?
getting, but if I have to go there.
Yeah, there's a link in your email. It'll take you right to the group. If you just go to groups.google.com
Right.
and then click on My Groups, Public
It should be
Groups.
there.
Yeah, it's right there. So you can see all the topics that have ever been posted. And in the beginning, it was a lot of Daryl, but it's a really rich discussion. There's a lot of different teachers sharing their resources and asking questions, and it's good. It's really grown over the last couple of years. Super impressive.
Groups.google.com.
Mm-hmm. We'll put a link to it right in this presentation. Okay. And I will add Jennifer to it. Okay.
Right, just some more CSA New Jersey stuff in general with CS Education. Legislator included $2 million for CS Education in their budget, and it was signed by the governor. Wording was added that the focus on K-12 professional development. So lots of opportunities should be coming down the road. I think they're going to start to announce this. The CS Advisory Board meeting is once a month, and they're developing an action plan to give to the governor for the fall. Kind of like where does the CS education need to go? What's the best approach to getting the teachers ready and then implementing it for the students? We also have a standards committee that's working on revising the few CS standards we have. Right now, they're very generic. So we're looking to add in a little more detail. So there's a little more direction. And then the big thing here, we will have another CSTA NJ chapter, and it will be in the Camden area. That's going to be starting this fall. So that's exciting news. 4 chapters. That's one part of the state that really didn't have easy access to anyone. So we had 3 people on board to launch that chapter. We're very excited to see where that goes.
No, just that they seem to be, it's all set up, so it's ready to go.
And I guess the one thing we can do to help their chapter is if you are or you know teachers in that area, make them aware of the fact that there's going to be a chapter in that Camden area so that they can be aware and on the lookout for that. As we know from our experiences, that first year is kind of when you really got to grab a lot of people. Otherwise, it's more difficult to bring them in later. So if we can help out in any way, I think that would be.
And that's
great.
Ann Cohart is the one spearheading that effort. Yeah. And she had brought her kids to our programming competition a couple of years. So really great to see that seed just grow.
Shout outs. We don't have a lot of shout outs. Last meeting, we talked about the Girls Go CyberStart online competition. New Jersey had the 2nd most participants in the country. The 2nd to Texas, I believe it was. Turned out that 13 schools from New Jersey qualified for the national competition. So they did like a practice round, then like a preliminary round, and then the national level. And you qualified based on the performance of your students in the competition at the preliminary rounds, which was all individual. We had 13 schools in New Jersey qualified, 2 from our area specifically. That would be Absecamani High School and Egg Harbor Township. Those 13 schools that you see listed then got to participate in the national competition. It was all online, dealing with cybersecurity. So it was trying to break code, trying to hack websites, trying to find information embedded in places. So it's all held by the Girls Go CyberStart organization, which is part of SANS, the SANS Institute, which we got right up there. Great experience for the students. Students didn't have to have any background knowledge on cybersecurity. It was really kind of a get on the website, play, poke around. They couldn't mess anything up because it was web-based, so nothing was happening if they got anything wrong. All 13 schools were invited to an award ceremony at Brookdale Community College, which was a pretty neat experience. They got to meet some pretty important people when it comes to cybersecurity in the state of New Jersey. So Jarrett Maples, the director of the NJ Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness, was there. So they got to meet him. He spoke to the students. Michael Garrity, I believe is how you pronounce that. The director of the NJ Cybersecurity and Communications Integration Cell was also a speaker there. And then Mandy Galante, who is the CyberStart program director and is actually a former New Jersey teacher. I think she was in the Red Bank area. She spoke to the students as well. So it was a really neat experience. This competition was just for girls, female students. So it was nice that they had the opportunity to meet other girls that were interested and passionate about it. Competition was free. That was neat too. It's not anything you have to register in advance. It was held, I want to say it started, I'm drawing a blank, May?
Yeah, it was maybe April.
No, it had been earlier than that. Maybe like March, April. So usually in the springtime, as far as I understand, they're going to do it again next year. So I would definitely say this might be something you want to encourage your students to take, your female students to take a look at.
Do you know how much time they took in their school day for it?
So for the preliminary rounds, I didn't give my students any class time. For the national competition one, I actually, because that was like a week long, I got the school to grant them permission to do like an in-school field trip, and they just worked on it for one day. But they can also work on it from home.
And
How we did it with the girls.
with an in-school field
So
day?
basically, they're counted as being, they're excused for the day, and they just sat in my room and worked on the competition.
You could do that because we.
What'd you do with your normal
Well,
students?
we have to.
They didn't go to
start
class?
every
They're all in your
month.
class.
Me and Yuzi
At
are
what?
putting together teachers to the after school group.
Okay,
So we're doing a girls only type group
Oh,
actually on
cool.
Tuesdays.
okay.
So we tried to pilot it last year, we just
And
kind
they
of
didn't
ran out
like
of
it.
time.
Yes.
So, but we've been running into all of these girl-specific coding and technology competitions. I mean, everybody feels, we didn't have them all together anywhere.
So for the national competition, you were allowed to pick a team of 4, is the way that works. So I had my 4 girls, and they just sat in my room all day and worked on the competition. And I just ran my classes. Like, they just had 4 computers in the back of the room, and then I just taught my classes all day. So it wasn't like I needed coverage or anything.
So you could do it in one of your classes if you have 4 girls.
It's a little tough because I'm in both buildings and I'm only in my room for one block. So
But I mean, if you had one class with 4 girls, you could do what you did, you know what I mean?
it would be one class though, but it would be.
Which is 4 students, just 4 girls, right?
Yeah, but my girls were able to be in my room from 7:30 to 2:30.
Right, that was one day for a field trip, right?
Yeah, and then they can work on
I
it.
can't do that
Why not?
because I'm in both buildings.
Well,
and
we could have some, we'll talk that
All
later.
right.
I like that idea.
I do too. I think it's a great idea.
We could definitely do it.
Yeah.
If you get him sub coverage, he could be in a
Yeah,
room.
we could definitely
Yeah.
do it. I think that's a great idea.
And then they got hooked. They could also work on it individually. So they could do it individually, and as they finished, no one else on their team could answer that problem or question. So there wasn't any overlap if you were working on it. And I know they met after school.
Right.
They
Interesting.
kind of got interested. They had the live scoreboard, so they were excited about that,
I think that's great.
especially when it started and we were right near the top because some states hadn't even begun yet because obviously we're ahead of the West Coast, so that was nice. All the Jersey schools were at the top right away. And we were like, all right.
Now, nothing for middle school, just high school, right?
Nothing from middle school that I know of.
I think there is a middle school competition.
Can you check because Jen,
It might not be the same thing. It's not, definitely not the same company, but there were a couple of resources that were put out at the conference that I have to weed through still.
Okay.
So,
And I can reach out to Mandy as well and ask her, is that any
Right.
like cybersecurity stuff or anything in general? On the 2 links there at the bottom was just 2 articles about the event. So if you wanted to read a little more into it, want to see how the New Jersey schools did in relationship to the other schools, they also gave out a lot of money to students and schools for either their participation levels, like how many students did you get to participate, and then when you got to the national level, the top 3 finishers in every state that participated got students got awards.
is that the one that Susan Signorelli got? They got $1,000 because they had, oh no, that was because they had the most people in their chapter. That was it. Okay.
So yeah, and then I guess they did each member of the team of the top 3 in each state that participated got a monetary award. The national winners got a little more, and then individual students also received like scholarship money depending on individual performance. So if you had a team that did, let's say, I don't know, 50% of the questions and one student did 45%, they were eligible and possibly selected for scholarship. I think it was like a $500 scholarship. So I thought that was nice too. I mean, I know when trying to get students to do this, being able to float that, hey, there's a nice little prize at the end here.
Mm-hmm. There we are. So we all went to the Leadership Summit that was sponsored by Google at the CSTA conference. And it was Phoenix next year again, Arlington, Virginia, and hopefully we'll have 4 placards. Besides the scholarship that funded us to attend this, there were like 5 or 6 other scholarships. There was the Rolls-Royce and the Oracle and other ones that I hadn't even heard of before. So, we should be able to send a lot of people next year. It is pretty close, and we just got to have more people apply. But if you're in the leadership of your chapter, you can sign up to attend the Leadership Summit and hustle to get a scholarship. Suzanne actually represented Northern New Jersey because they didn't have anybody that could go. So even though she's Central New Jersey, you might recognize her also from the competitions and stuff. And there's Carolyn Segreto also.
Some of our Google Leadership winners here. I guess this was at the CSTA conference.
Yeah, this is, oh yeah, this was just some of the Google ones. Not everybody heard them yelling in the mic, come take a picture. So there were just literally picture after picture of all the different scholarships. I'd have to say, like, out of the over 1,000 people that attended, there were close to 150 scholarships. So it's a nice ratio.
All right,
And we brought back swag. So yeah, I brought some micro bits.
swag, which we see laid out.
So if you're a CSTA Plus member, when you do go to the conference, they were giving you like very specific swag. You got chargers and, CSTA chargers and bags, and you got micro bits and stuff like that. They did give us a chapter set of micro bits for us to start our lending library, which I'll be working on. So we do have a whole set of the micro bits now. Got 15 of them, and that's good. So we'll be able to loan them out to different schools and do some play dates with them.
Not in the picture are all the stickers. You also.
No, the stickers were in the boxes. It was funny because these are the kits, right? But Microsoft hand wrote a nice little note to each person, like a different note. Everyone was handwritten for each micro bit, and they put them in these bigger boxes with stickers and all the other stuff. And it was like, but we have to bring this back, like in our luggage. So like, clearly I took mine out of the bigger boxes. I felt a little bad tossing their CSTA boxes, but I wasn't going to pay for another whole suitcase. I could have just bought them at that point. So, so next slide.
All right, so we talked about the Girls Go Cyber Start. This is, I guess, my informal presentation. I've included in this PowerPoint. So obviously there's a big push for cybersecurity. We understand the importance of it in society today. Our students need to understand the importance, as well as see this as a possible avenue they could go down to academically and then ultimately as a career. When attending the event to recognize the students from the program competition, they provided us with a ton of different links that your students can explore to learn more about cybersecurity. And I'll just click on a couple of them. So like this one just has short video clips trying to explain concepts in a way that maybe is going to be more relatable to a student. And I think even some of these might even work for middle school students. As you can see, it kind of strips down the technical looking aspect of it, but yet covers pretty high level stuff. I'm not going to play any of the actual videos, but it gives you a bunch of different scenarios, short little clips, couple minutes long, introducing different concepts that deal with cybersecurity.
Certainly they don't teach CSS.
Some more videos.
Got him.
Not.
And then on the CyberStart website, they've listed all kinds of resources that you can link right to. So whether it's cybersecurity competitions, so maybe check out these and see if any of these would pertain to middle school students. I'm not positive. Learning with others, like camp opportunities, who's doing things with cybersecurity, different places you can go if your students want to learn individually. So if they want to learn about cybersecurity using Python or have some experience with Python, if they wanted to focus on Linux or just web vulnerabilities, there's specific things that the students can work on. I'm assuming tutorials as well as different activities for the students to do built right into those websites, which is really cool. They also have a list of teacher resources. There's a Gen Cyber Educator Camp for teachers. Code.org is now getting involved in some stuff. So lots of stuff there. And then just different materials, videos, things that you personally as an educator might want to take a look at. things that you can share with your students, maybe direct your students to. So we have some TED Talks here, some different challenges. And then lastly, some stuff about mentor scholarships and conferences. So different things for students. So I thought this was really cool that they shared this and they encouraged us to share this with everybody. I have not looked at all these links. I think I got the email including all these links maybe 3 weeks ago. So I haven't jumped into all of them, but it's nice to kind of have that spot to go to where you can see, okay, I want to do a little more with this, or I think this might be of interest to my students. I can at least direct them there to see some of the different things. So that link is right in the PowerPoint. I said, I personally am not a cybersecurity expert. I don't teach cybersecurity in any way, shape, or form. So when the students were doing the competition, it was kind of a different situation because they would look at me and I would just look back at them and go, I don't even know where to begin right now. So, and I think they kind of enjoyed that. Like, I mean, don't let me take a look, let me think about it. And I would just be looking behind them to see, because I was interested, like, what do these questions look like? And then they would finish it. And they're like, did you figure it out yet? I was like, no. And they're like, oh, we did. Thanks. So they kind of enjoyed that a little bit. But I think it was definitely something that I want to explore and include in my classroom. I think definitely interest from students. I know the one feedback I did get from my classes was, why is there not a mail competition? That answer for them, but now I have resources that at the very least I can say, hey, listen, you can do this stuff too. Here's resources that anybody can access.
How about StockTech, it was like a science fair type thing. It wasn't actually cybersecurity related.
Oh,
It was more like a hackathon.
Yeah.
Right, but like not a hackathon like this. This is like cybersecurity focused, where different hackathons more like it's where kids come together and make something cool if they go off.
But you're not trying to break into a box. There's no CPF challenge?
No.
No.
That's yeah. So like I said, it was more like a science fair is the best way to put it.
Oh, okay.
CPF though is super cool, and I would be, into doing something along those lines.
Shake it up a little. Can you explain CTF?
Capture the flag.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
he's talking about. And basically what they do is they'll plant flags on a compromised system, and then they turn the kids loose, and the kids go and collect the flags, right? So they'll type in certain values to indicate that they found the flags. It's like a virtual scavenger hunt, but you gotta hack your way to the eggs, as it were. It's super cool. I mean, I've actually done this. I've done the SANS stuff. And I've done like their cyber ranges and all that kind of stuff. It's good. We actually had one of our students win their cyber war thing last year. So that was against pros though, which is crazy. It was Brandon Morris.
Oh, yeah.
Smart kid. But anyway, yeah, he took down the pros in the SANS cyber range last year. It's pretty cool.
How about that?
You had before a slide about New Jersey Cyber Integration Cell, New Jersey KIC, they call it, right? And while we're talking about cybersecurity, I figured mention that they're like the premier organization in New Jersey for cybersecurity. So if you've like gotten hacked bad, or you like had any sort of cybersecurity questions or anything like that, they would be the people to go to in our state. They're like the state police, but for cybersecurity in New Jersey. And they're referred to as New Jersey KIC, but it's like NJCCIC is their initials or whatever. So for what it's worth, we use them all the time. Good people.
And I just
Oh, those are those great messages.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, I get those.
I know there's talk, I mean, it's very early in the process of maybe them getting involved, and from this, there being some kind of curriculum put together to introduce cybersecurity, which I thought that was kind of a loose conversation being had around the table at the award ceremony, which I think that'd be very neat because, like everything else, sometimes teachers get a little scared off. I'm not the expert in this, but if there was a package, like here's your curriculum, do this, yeah, they're definitely involved in pushing this stuff out to students. Some PD and resources, kind of a slow time right now as far as PD to apply for. Most of it's either going to come up in the fall or the PD is actually taking place right now in the summer, and deadlines have already passed to apply for them, but there are your links. We do have the computer science conference, Let's Integrate, coming up in October.
Mhm.
The SRI ETTC, it's October 2nd and October 3rd.
Mhm. We're still lining up opening speakers for that. And I think we have room for like 1 or 2 more presentations in the 9 to 12.
Okay.
You did submit one. We accepted
Are you
yours,
in?
right?
I'm in.
Yes, he's in there. So if you,
Oh, I think I'm in there.
I believe he's in there.
Yeah, I think we talked about this.
So if you just click on the
Yeah,
link,
scratch or something.
click on the link,
Yeah.
the red one, that red one right there. Brilliant. See if you scroll down, see the proposed sessions. So see where above the kids, proposed sessions.
Right here,
So
right?
yep, that's the high school one. This is what we've got so far. Keep going. Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing that.
Yes, it's Bill.
I didn't know.
You're the one who put it in there. They'll put that in there.
Oh, you're teaching with SQL, huh?
Just using Google spreadsheets. Just using the query command in a Google sheet. Because I figure it's the kind of thing, it could be a one-day project for a class just to get people to learn some basic SQL command.
That's awesome, man.
And then if you could click on sessions K through 8 right
Oh,
up
you have
there.
to check my blog post. Don't forget the database.
So
Because
this is what we
we're
have
not launching rockets, but you know, it's,
for K to 8.
it's the crux of our civilization.
That's awesome.
Yeah, K-8 stuff as well.
Oh, yeah.
There's some good people turn out. Brian always does some pretty good stuff.
Mhm. And there might be like one more in there. So I met a lot of people at IST and at
Hey,
CSTA.
what was that one at the
Right.
bottom there about the multiverse thing?
It's, yeah,
What's the deal with that?
mixed reality, augmented virtual.
Oh,
How many
Yeah.
hours session would each one be?
Sorry.
Each session is, well, we're going to have like 3 different sessions. So if you go to the schedule of the day, see, schedule of the day, session 1 is from 9:30 to 11, session 2, 11, 12:40, and then 1:30 to scroll down just a wee bit.
So about 1.5 hours of
Yeah,
lecture.
yeah. So some of it'll be hands-on, some of it'll be lecture,
Okay.
depends on the session. So there'll be 3 different sessions and you'll be able to pick, from 2 or 3 choices in each session.
You have one open. you said.
One opening for a presenter.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking for like maybe, 1 or 2 more for the high school and in talks with somebody as bringing in a speaker. But all of these people are all like CSTA members. So this is a CSTA collaboration all the way. They've all been contacted either through the CSNJ Google group or through our sessions here. So just like last year's, so that was really great. We're super excited.
It's a good website. Just that Google sites, man.
Just a Google site. Yeah.
Easy peasy. Okay.
It's replaced the online PDF.
Yeah.
Um,
Want to talk
keep
about your
going.
toys at all?
Oh, so I brought back some toys if you want to play with some toys. So there's some microbits. I brought like 3 iPads in. If you have a device, you can go to the website, but they're pretty easy. Has anybody played with them before? No. Have you played with them?
We saw them at ISTE.
But did you sit down and
Yeah, kind of.
make one go?
I haven't made, I don't know what ones you have.
These are all just the microbits. Okay, so microbits themselves individually are these little chips. And you can program them. They have an LED display. You can also insert them into other robots and then program them. You can program hummingbirds and a multitude of other things. Not that one. This is not a microbit compatible one. This is a completely different robot that just showed up for my makerspace. Yeah. So that's more like the Vorpal robot. Okay, so a little bit different. But basically, if you grab a kit, and you insert the little power in there. I got a couple kits open. And then you pair it with the iPad, you can program the LED display. And so it's pretty simple.
This thing does way more than just a little display though, right?
Oh, it does. You have to take it further.
There was a bunch of stuff. I mean, they like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the hummingbirds. They're great. But the wonderful thing about this is that these are like I think $17.99 each, which is pretty cost effective, and they do work with a lot of other things. If you look at the setup of it, it works like a makey. You can attach a lot of different things to it, so you can get into circuits and everything with it. The other thing is that even if you don't have these, they have an emulator. So if you don't have to wait for the equipment, you can use the emulator and have them program the LED screen and have it do different things. There's a lot in there, and there's complete tutorials with the microbit app on the iPad, and there's also on the MakeCode site. There's a lot more. So
This is amazing.
It's a pretty cool.
Ago, you used to spend thousands of dollars for a controller that can do this.
I know. It's insanity.
Crazy.
It really is. So the first thing that you want to do is choose a microbit and pair it. So you want to pair with the new microbit, and it's going to talk you through a couple of steps. You're going to want to hold these two things down and the reset button on the back. If you want to open one up and turn the iPad on. If you put the microbit on your phone, you can pair with a bit, run it off.
This is too crazy.
It is.
So digital reading and writing, analog reading, writing. This is crazy.
I have to get this open. Yeah, you hold the two buttons on the reset, and then follow the steps to pair the device. Here's another one.
So are there like add-ons or something to this, or how does that work?
There are quite a few.
I mean, just looking through the programming language.
So Gary Schaefer, who runs a lot of things for us at the SIU, he worked with a company, they've got a robotic car that's driven by the microbit.
The new Spiro,
I have a Bolt, yeah, I just met
The
them.
I've been to
non-fire,
those.
there's an actual, it's not a big or wall, it's an actual, like it looks like a robot.
Yeah, it's like,
The new Finch robots
oh, okay, let's go.
also have a microbit integration. So the brand new Finches that just came out, they're on pre-order right now.
Where are you? I'm holding down N.
Hold on, I'll be right around to help you.
Now I'm searching.
If you download the thing and just follow, I'll give you the instructions.
Oh, it's too much. All right, so let's go back to
Did you pair it yet?
A and B.
No, it's just not smelling the software.
Okay.
I can't believe like.
Hold it.
Correct.
Do you see that?
Okay.
And like the least interesting part is the.
You should stop sharing the screen.
But now, I'm not allowed to
That's
go with
the
it.
pattern.
There's your
she wants
pattern.
to do.
Oh.
So you got to
Stop
punch
sharing.
that in. Yes, stop sharing for a minute so that we're back on this. And then,
And I told A.
and this plugs in, like if you have a laptop and you don't want to use the, you've got the USB, unless you have the new stupid Mac with no ports.
just have to get a stupid.
I know, the stupid adapter. The stupid adapter. It's a terrible adapter.
Remember when we got these?
Mhm.
We spent a day ordering adapters.
Okay, I have a
Oh
question.
my gosh, you know I love your doll. Thanks.
When it says press aim
Oh,
bit,
I feel like we're
and
always
reset,
sharing
it
each other's
says
dolls.
logo reset, but
Yeah.
it's holding down aim bit. Did you clear him
Nah.
yet?
He doesn't want the
Alright,
parent.
hold aim
He
bit.
just wants to look at
Sonia,
it.
and not press
Yeah,
aim.
I'm all about the code because the thing is that the
Okay,
device
okay.
itself
Now hold
it.
isn't
I'm
holding
really
it.
that
I did.
useful on
Okay.
the display side,
And then
but
do
its
next.
control abilities
Now,
are like
Copy,
crazy.
Yeah.
do the top
You just
row.
pop it in another thing and
So it's,
attach the things and it just does all that.
I mean, it says it has serial
I know,
control,
right?
it says it has GPIOs.
Add on.
So
How do I
that's,
do that?
that's pretty crazy.
It is. It's
Alright,
insane.
so maybe it's this column. Every
So it
time
really
you
puts
can't
all
just
those
do
interactions like
first
right
two.
in the hands of.
Copy the credit
Yeah,
on your device.
if I had this when I was a kid, my whole house would be like a robot already.
Yeah, Eric said he wants a workshop. Oh, okay. So this one I think is already paired with this one.
Yes.
This one might be paired.
And do that.
So here, create a code.
I'm cheating. I
So
don't
here
know
it
whether
shows you
this
the
is gonna work.
JavaScript, you can go
Yeah.
for the blocks or the Java, whatever
I
works
mean,
for
it's
you.
very cool.
So
Very
that's
hard to download, you can send it like right to the microbit. So,
There you
you
go.
know, they do have Bluetooth.
Ah.
Remember, they didn't.
So
have
is it-
Bluetooth.
Okay.
That
way or this way?
You have to go
What?
right
Oh,
to
this
use
may
it.
be-
So now-
Yeah,
upside
the
down.
Numbers are upside down.
Alright, so we got,
So we should be good,
okay,
right? 1, 2, 1.
Yeah, the gold is the bottom.
okay.
Can you keep turning those up?
Next,
You know what? It's me laying across the
ready,
table.
so
It's
ready
real
to
pretty.
pair,
Hold on, let me help
A,
you.
press A.
It won't let me just have this one winner.
Now do I do next?
Can I let go of that?
The tapping is a
When it
little.
asks for a code, press button A to see.
Mhm.
It's like,
It's a
Do I
little
have to hit
touchy
next?
just for the
Yeah.
pairing,
Okay,
but then after that it seems to work.
alright, here we go. Oh,
it's
good.
not letting me delete it,
Alright,
get rid of.
we'd like to pair.
Mhm.
Pair.
Now,
So that's the code it gave you.
something. Yeah. That's what it gave me.
That's the pattern?
When I-
I've never seen a pattern from up like that.
It's
Just
weird,
press it.
right? Weird
Hold on,
sometimes.
this might be the pattern.
Okay.
It'll settle.
I'm gonna
Thinking,
hit-
okay.
I'm gonna hit it.
Okay. So.
So you have to hit the, we hit this. we
Here.
hit the A to B.
Now what?
And
Yeah,
then it tells you
yeah.
when to
And
delete.
the,
Currently, if you were to
also
use
need
it,
to reset.
And then what do you?
A, B, and
I
reset.
get lost.
Okay.
Yeah, now you can go home, yeah.
Then
Create
next.
code.
Now you got it. Go like this.
Ah,
So now we have to,
I guess you,
what's this here? Oh,
we click
You think that's it,
tutorials.
because I'm here?
Yeah, you can look for samples.
Okay.
Sniff the out.
Okay. So now it's, yeah, pairing request, check. And it's gonna
how
tell
are
you
you
hit the
gonna do,
reset
show
button.
your name on the LEDs.
Hit that little
How do you
reset
do
button
that?
right there.
Oh, it's just a tutorial.
Let it go. Do it one time.
Places. There's Lock in the file, lock.
Oh.
And then you're gonna go, you should be paired. And then with the code. You can start with the little heart one.
Okay.
It'll talk you right through. the
Now do
So-
next.
Are you guys paired?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And did you start the heart project?
Oh, were we supposed to do the heart? We did a
We're doing our
tutorial.
name.
That's okay. Yeah, any of the tutorials are great. Are
Yeah,
you,
yeah, now
you're
I'm,
flashing your
Yeah.
code?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
You're awesome.
Did you flash?
I have
Mine's
flash on.
still, oh yeah, yours looks a little different than it.
Look at the
Yeah,
serial, make
yeah.
sure it shows.
I'm gonna start making a little circle for stuff.
Okay. It sound like
it
don't
says
start.
name. It's flashing.
No, not Tony Stark. It's the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm gonna make some weird. That guy. You want one, Joe?
No,
Okay.
I have access to these all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Park them on your desk.
Yeah.
And,
Drag over, but
I don't want to take anything away
just
from
put it
the
under
other.
that other one.
I've got a bunch of them.
Like under the other should.
I mainly play with the,
And then you can change what's in there,
Oh.
Mhm.
whatever you want.
Any do's and don'ts when handling microbit?
Well, you don't want to scratch up the inputs,
Okay.
where you would put the alligator clips on.
Okay.
I always just package them back in the little packages.
Okay.
If you want to give them a piece of foam, that's great.
Okay.
Just that stuff that, they sell like shelf liner. It's rubbery that we normally use to keep from the laptops from slipping off the table and stuff like that. Just like a little square of each of that, just to keep it nice and cushioned when they put them away. Another thing is if you're not going to be using them for a while, make sure you take the batteries out of the battery pack. Some people buy them, they're cheaper if you buy them without the battery packs. You know what I mean? And then you just plug them in USB, and that's if you have Chromebooks. But if you have iPads, they Bluetooth, so it's so much easier. The pairing's the hardest part, But so with the Chromebooks, you download the code and then you flash it over, like you just drag it over to that input, on the in your files.
So every time I use, I have to pair.
They do.
Right? Because
And
the
now-
batteries are pairing.
Yeah, and every time they play.
His was still paired, like, so you could number them and say this one's paired to this, and save a lot of time if you have iPads. And again, they're doing it on the phone over there, so, it's pretty versatile. I don't know if it works with like the Fire tablets. That would be great, because those were like, what, $29 this week? It's like crazy. On the Amazon Prime Day. I was like, holy moly. They would be cleaning up if they had educational apps. So. Mhm.
I think they clean up.
They do with all their cloud hosting and everything. They're like,
They done cleaned up.
it's insanity. It really is. So,
I heard from Henry.
little playtime?
Yeah.
Does this have any
Henry
speaker
Hart.
built into it?
No, but you can put a speaker into it. You have to attach a speaker to it. You can attach it to like a piezo or like a buzzer.
Okay.
You can do all those things, but you have to use the GPIO pins. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Henry Harms wrote to me.
Oh, did he? And what did he say?
He said I'm cool.
So we signed up. Are you the one teaching the principals? Which one are you teaching?
The week-long principals one?
Yeah. So
Myself and Claudette.
Phil will be in the week-long principals thing.
Alright.
The high school, yeah.
I'll be in the other one.
Maybe we could get a little carpool thing going.
I might be
Or you
staying.
staying up there? I'm gonna actually see if Patty will get me a spot up there,
I'll
Center
be doing the
City.
other
I
one.
haven't decided yet.
I'll do the other one.
Okay. That's who does that. Amy Wright and Gary.
You know them.
You would know. There's you. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're members.
Yeah. You just literally unplug the power from it. So it will hold the last interaction that you've done. You can always reset it by hitting the reset button. And you want to disconnect it, you just pull it out. There's like a little, tiny little.
I don't want to break it.
So these were like a couple years ago when you heard that in the UK they were giving every student a computer. This is what they were talking about. They didn't give them like a PC or a laptop. This is the computer that every kid got. And at that point they were like $10. So it's pretty interesting because the language they were using was a little
exaggerated.
Yeah, it's a bit of hyperbole, but it's a pretty powerful bit. So there's a lot you can do with them. We built like an entire tiny town at ISTE last year. So all those little houses that you saw that were all lit up and had moving parts and everything, these were all driven by the microbits. So we just attached them to the Hummingbird robotic system. And had a really nice city. going. So, yeah. So I just wanted to bring a little play toy. Yes, we just have to talk about the next meetings and all of
And
that.
everybody at the conference got like 15 of them?
No. So if you were a CSTA Plus member, you got one of these, you got a charger, you got like a cup, other things. And if you were there for the chapter leadership summit, you got a set to bring back to your chapter to start a lending library. At the leadership summit, we had 78 or 9 teachers from 69 different chapters. So it was pretty well attended.
Very cool.
The conference itself had, I think, 1,044 attendees. So that was the biggest that they had ever had. And next year, you know, they're hoping it'll be even bigger.
Did you get to do anything else out there?
Well, oh, yeah. We went up to Sedona, we went to the Grand Canyon, and, you know, went out to dinner at some really fabulous places.
You press the little
Um,
button, the increments and
Yeah.
decrements.
Now, this conference is a great conference because they literally feed you. They feed you. They feed you breakfast and lunch.
1,000 people they fed?
It's amazing. Great food. Like, I should send out the pictures. They feed you breakfast and lunch. So the cost of the conference, Arlington, Virginia, and it's definitely worth sending your teachers to. The kind of the focus that was on the total conference was about equity. Yeah, so a lot of our speakers dealt with equity and stuff like that, but they have great workshops, and they have pre-conference workshops. They have,
And how much is it?
I don't know, 'cause I didn't pay for it.
I can pay for him.
Oh, you should definitely go.
So do I get to keep the tablet?
Do the
No, you can't keep the tablet. The
Get
tablet,
access to last year workshop videos.
Do you know that answer?
which,
Do Plus members get access to last year's?
Video of the conference.
no, because they did not record the conference. They maybe will record a couple keynotes or something like that.
Those workshops,
No, the workshops are not recorded.
because I see some workshops like 5 years back and all are there.
I did not see anybody, in all the workshops I was in, I didn't see anybody recording it.
Okay.
So,
Individual presenters might do, because I know they get a lot of like
yeah.
different corporations and places that run their
Mhm.
own.
Because I saw old workshops and learned a lot of what the teachers are doing.
I didn't see anybody videotaping any workshops.
Are you a Plus member?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yes.
So
This is my
definitely
second
worth-
year of being a
definitely
Plus
worth
menu.
spending that.
Yeah, it's definitely worth the $50 because
Yeah.
just when you walk up and they hand you this ginormous bag of swag, it's nice.
Right.
And then also, if I want to buy stuff for my class, I get all these discounts.
Discounts, yeah.
So, so that's nice. Plus, I want to be able to fund the grants and everything.
Right.
Like we applied for them, we got grants. I want to be able to have the grants. So I would definitely do the Plus membership. It's definitely worth it. It's to the benefit of all the chapters. Really, they've stepped up their game as, you know, by being able to do that. So, and I think what it does is it tells the sponsors of the conferences and all of the different events that are sponsored throughout the year, because there's different meetings like all over the place. There's regional conferences as well. It tells the sponsors that they're not just a bunch of people who aren't really in it with a free membership. They're actually putting a little money in there and they're dedicated to the process. So I feel like it validates our membership. They were willing to pay a little bit for it. And the sponsors see that and they match funds and stuff. So it's not a bad idea to do that.
Steal your stickers or something.
Oh, yes, still some stickers. So, so as far as meetings, we should come up with that soon. We have to just talk about where we're gonna hold them, because we might come over to SRI and ECPC. We do have a conference room,
Parking's a lot more convenient there during the year.
so, it just, you know, it depends.
All right, so future meetings, just kind of wrap everything up. Exact dates to be determined. We also might be shifting our location, working on where exactly we will be. We'll get that email out as soon as we take care of all those administrative details on figuring out where's their space and what dates work.
Is everybody interested in meeting at a brewery on our next meeting, in our September meeting? So there's Leatherheads. It's not really a brewery,
That's
but
pretty nice.
but they have a room upstairs.
They do have it upstairs.
So you want to get a place that has like a room and.
I mean, depends. I don't even think.
They have great beers on tap.
If we go to a place, I don't know.
They got to take us to the.
No, no. We could be downstairs. We could do, let me see what they've got. Wednesday night is Mexican night at Leatherheads, right?
I'm getting 3 liters of brown.
There's a lot of breweries. Try that one. No, there's one down in Millville's.
No, actually,
So if we started, like, I'll check with other houses. Just let them know.
No, there's a big one.
You've been in there, right? Yeah. So we can take it over.
So you'll get email about the dates.
So Sharon. Sharon. Hi.
Can you hear me?
Hi, Sharon. So we'll send an email about our next meeting. If we do meet in a brewery, we won't be broadcasting it.
Okay.
We'll just send highlights.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll get people to come. So that'd be nice. So you can stop sharing. Yeah.
I'm on my game.
And then you can leave the meeting.
That's why I see like.
No, that's actually.
I hope it's recorded because we opened the meeting, not always working the meeting.
I mean, when you're working, I mean, you enjoy what you're doing. That's fun for you too.
And then sign me out of the Google. Okay. So we'll see if that actually.
I know that was how my son did. He was.
I didn't know if they busted them out, but you saw all the different things that are good about it.
I've long for a while, like flicking and poking and
It's
doing all the
amazing.
stuff. Yeah, it's really nice.
So, and like I said, they do have the emulator, so if you want to do just the LED display with the littles, and then, you know, when they're able to code the display, even if you only have like 1 or 2 in the room, you can just say, okay, you coded it, so here, pair with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like not entirely undoable with other stuff too. You can definitely get like an Arduino, like a LED top hat kind of deal. There's a lot of options.
What do you have to get to attach a speaker? What speakers do you get to attach to it?
You can use a little piezos. Oh, there's a couple different things. It's just anything that you can hook to a makey for that.
Oh, of course.
So you just have to either find or make the blocks that will interact. The make block site is better than just the microbit site because it works with so many more interactions. So that one, you know, where you actually plug it into the computer.
What's this?
That's Swag. That's a
Yeah, but what does it
that's a
do?
USB.
What?
That's a USB.
Oh.
Oh, you were there? I was there.